So we had a bye week, but we had our JV game on Wednesday against Taravella, which we won 26-0, which is great because we're very, very young. And we wanted to see those kids play a lot. So two of those kids, James LaFrancois, caught 4 balls or 5 balls, I believe, and a touchdown. And Chase Rayner had 3 interceptions. So a lot of good play by the young kids. So we're excited to see that. You had asked me about our MVP of the first half, so to speak. Without a question, it's Aiden Johar. I believe he's leading the county in scoring with 9 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. But again, like I said before, I can't get the verification from the Sun Sentinel for some reason. The other thing is we play today. The weather's not looking good, but we'll see what happens. We play Miami Central, who happened to play Saturday and lost to Northwestern. Northwest. So we don't know what's going to happen today. We don't know how their players are, who's starting and how they're going to proceed with that. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to try something different. And I probably shouldn't say this on a podcast, but we're going vanilla. We don't want to show a whole lot because we consider the next 2 games playoff games. Sure. Basically, if we beat Stranahan and we beat, oh my God, going blank. Oh my God, what's the other conference games? I went blank, Coach. But we have a game on Friday, and if we win that game and then beat Stranahan, we would actually make the playoffs. So we're what we're doing is we're taking the tough season we've had, and it's Somerset. I apologize. We play Somerset Friday. So what we're doing is we're going vanilla Monday, and we have a whole bunch of plays installed for Friday. I mean, we're going to be. It's actually going to be exciting. We like what we're doing and like what we're running. We don't want to show anything at this point, to be honest with you. So if somebody gets on this podcast, you're probably not going to get too much film from Miami Central.
I love it.
But we're excited for the opportunity against Somerset. We think we're a good matchup against them. And, our season is on the line on Friday. This game, we don't want too many injuries. We want to, like I said, we're going to go very vanilla, try to use the clock. We understand the reality that they're the number 4 team in the state. And we're going to just go there with a good fight.
I love that, Coach. And I think that's why, I love talking to you so much, because I've been, in this coaching world of mine anyway, been a coach and been on some of those teams where you see the growth. And other people necessarily, if they're not watching the game, they're not watching the practices as much, they don't see it as much if you're a scoreboard watcher. But you can see the things that are developing and that are getting, and that are so positive out there. So I think that's one of the big things. And like you said, between Somerset and then you got Hollywood Hills and Stranahan to finish up the season, you got some big games, I think, for you guys. So talk about what your keys to the game would be looking at the Somerset game this week.
They have a really good running back. So we're going to have to key on him. It's no secret. I believe he ran for 300 yards against Northeast, something in that regard. So we're focused on that. They also have a good young quarterback that they don't throw as much, but he's very capable. So we're kind of working our defense around that. But I think a big key for us is going to be our offense. I think we're going to open up a little bit and do some things that people haven't seen yet. And we're real excited about that. And we based that basically on our schedule and what we were going to do after the Central game. So we had 2 different plans going in, and I'm happy to say I'm liking where we're, the fact that we are currently 1-4. But I like the way the kids are fighting. And listen, I took over 14 years ago. We went 2-8, and I was the worst coach that ever lived. The fans in the stands and the school. Next year we went 8-2. The year after that we went 8-2, and I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So as you know, Coach,
Yeah.
and you talked about it, people don't know what happens at the practice sessions. People don't know what's going on with matchups. They just assume you can do what they see on television, and that it's going to go, and that you can open up the offense, like Alabama, and that's not the reality for most of us. So, I truly believe in what we're trying to do here, and I think it just takes time. I think it takes a lot of time.
And Coach, I appreciate it. And one you mentioned Aiden Johar as your player for the first half of the season. We're excited because we're at a point now where we're able to recognize those guys. And our partner out there, Dave and Buster's in Oakwood, is giving all of our players of the week an hour free gameplay to recognize what you coaches are doing and what the players are doing for that hard work. And they caught the show, and they're as positive and as optimistic and excited about these types of things as us. So we want to make sure we recognize him, and as we go forward, some of those other guys that are doing so well for you guys. And I appreciate every week you giving us the time. And I do know, again, I've been in positions where it's easy to pack the tent in, so to speak, and say I don't want to talk about things. And and we spoke to Aiden last week. Just so much positivity coming out right now of out of Pompano and what you guys are building, and that you can see the growth, and you can see that almost, I don't want to say the finish line, but you can see at least that there's a next step, and you can see where you guys are going from there. So again, I appreciate that.
I always believe in that light in the end of the tunnel. And if you can convince your players that the light's there, then they'll start playing towards it. If you can't convince them, and that's a coach's job, as you know, it makes it a little tougher. And it's easy to pack in the tent, but it's a lot harder to dig in the shovels and start getting towards that light. So, I'll keep it up. And listen, I really, Brandon, appreciate what you do. I think this is going to be a fantastic podcast as you grow, because it's really a lot of fun for me, and I enjoy doing it.
Coach, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your positivity and the kind words, and you keep me going. I appreciate text messages and you jumping on, and we're gonna keep doing this thing. And every week we're gonna talk a little bit more. And I'm excited. I'm gonna come out to practice so I can be able to watch you guys, and I can watch Aiden and all your young players. I think it's so revitalizing for me, and I think I can bring that across to our viewers and some of the people who watch how much positive and how much great is going on. So I appreciate the time, Coach, and I appreciate this week, and I can't wait to talk to you next week after that big game with Somerset.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. You have a great week, Brandon.
You too. Thank you, Coach.